So this is our air quality session, and we've got several speakers. Unlike most of our other sessions, though, all of our speakers are virtual with us today. So bear with us as we figure out some little adjustments to make this all work. By way of introduction, so our panelists will be talking about today is hopefully to give you an overview about the funding and technical assistance that tribes can receive in order to maintain their air quality programs within their communities. There'll be, talk about some of the outreach and communication tools and materials that tribes can use, and how a part of EPA's goals is to support tribes basically in building their own capacities in managing air quality. So we'll talk, there'll be a couple of different speakers. We'll be starting off first with Sandra Brzezowski, who is our tribal air team lead. And then she's got a couple of other members of the EPA air team, India, Young, Althea, Godfrey, and then we will have another Jillian Metal that will be from the Tribal Healthy Homes Network will give a presentation, and then we have Larry Brockman from EPA's National Efficiency or Planning and Efficiency Air Quality Standards Program, who will talk. So each of them we will start off, Sandra, if it's okay with you, we'll start off and have each of you give like your elevator speech, your introduction to yourselves, and then again, what you do with regard to the air quality programs, particularly with emphasis on tribal engagement. Sandra?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us today. And I think I think I'll be the one doing the sort of elevator pitch for the program, but can let others on the EPA team introduce themselves. And then yeah, like you were saying, thanks that
right, because we know the air programs like water programs are so multi-level and have different aspects of it. So we definitely want each of the team members to give an introduction of what they do.
for sure. Yeah, and sorry, it's a little the volume's a little low for us on remotely through the microphone, but I think maybe perhaps we can address that as questions come up in the room or more um, conversation happens. But yeah, I'm Sandra Brzezowski. I'm the Tribal Air Team Lead in the Air Program EPA in Region 10, Seattle. And before I do the pitch, I'll let others introduce themselves before we can dive into what we can share a bit. So I'll turn it to Erin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin McTighe, also part of the Tribal Air Team, and more broadly, I'm the Smoke Management Coordinator for EPA Region 10, so work on wildfire, smoke prescribed fire smoke issues, and indoor air quality as well. And I'll pass it to India.
Hi, my name is India Young, and I'm also on the Tribal Air Team, and I lead the Alaska Tribal Air Work and the Tribal Sensor Loan Program for our team and the Air Quality Flag Program, and in general support tribes on Clean Air Act projects. Thank you.
Althea?
Popping on here. Hi, Althea Godfrey. I'm a grantee. I work from the Senior Environmental Employee Program with the Tribal Air Team. I work on FAR compliance. I monitor emissions from facilities, and I work on daily air quality and ventilation with meteorologists and on smoke issues, especially those for wildfires, and work directly with the tribes then.
Thanks. Larry, you want to go?
Sure, sorry. Yeah, Larry Brockman. I'm with EPA's National Program in Research Triangle Park Air Quality Program. I'm the Burn Wise Program Team Lead.
And then Jillian?
Yeah, Gillian, would you like to go next?
Sure, Sandra. Hi, it's Dr. Gillian Middlestead. I'm the director of the Tribal Healthy Homes Network, and I also manage the Tulalip Air and Indoor Environments Program.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, so a little bit about our program. Our program provides funding and technical assistance to tribes to establish or maintain air quality programs for their communities. Like it was mentioned, one of our goals is to support tribes to build capacity in air quality, and we work towards that by connecting tribes to other tribes with air quality programs and to other air quality resource providers. We also provide outreach and communication materials and tools to tribes to use to communicate about air quality. Some of our areas of work and areas of technical assistance were sort of mentioned as folks were introducing themselves, but like Indy mentioned, we have an air quality sensor loan program, and we provide assistance and loan out sensors to communities and tribes that have interest in monitoring air quality. We also provide more, let's say, technical air monitoring support and brainstorming. We do forecasting, air quality forecasting, so that tribes and their communities can get a sense of the air quality conditions for a particular day and how that may influence decision making when it comes to any outdoor burning activities they engage in. We provide information on smoke and health preparedness information that Aaron was talking about, and Althea touched on facility emission tracking and registration. So we have rules that I can get into a little bit later that require certain facilities to register with EPA, certain facilities within reservations to register with EPA, so we can have a sense of what air quality emissions are looking like for certain communities coming from facilities. Not specifically in our group, but the AIR program also permits facilities with certain air emissions. And we provide resources on indoor air quality, radon, can be a big indoor air quality issue. And one of our other big pieces of work is we work with tribes to manage federal funding for air quality work. That's our grant work. And we generally provide training on air quality to those interested. And that's my pitch for the moment. I know Larry has some information to share as well as Gillian. But is that okay to go? Yeah.
No, that's fine. Larry, do you want to go next?
Sure. I think Sandra's got to close out her slides, then I can share. It's telling me.
Oh, sorry. I didn't really go through that part. Yeah. Can you go now?
Yeah. Is it showing up?
It is. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for the opportunity to speak today. It's truly a joy and an honor to be with so many tribal environmental leaders, given that I actually started my career in EPA Region 10 30 years ago, working with tribes on environmental programs. So it's nice to be with you all. I've got kind of three takeaways from the presentation. One, that there is free and practical educational information available through the BurnWise program to help reduce residential wood smoke exposure, reduce the risk of chimney fires, and to burn less wood. Second takeaway is that heat pump technologies in combination with an EPA certified stove can be a great option for most homes heating with wood, propane, or electric resistance heat, particularly in the lower 48 and Southeast Alaska. And then third, there's really funding like never before from EPA and DOE for installation of wood stoves, heat pumps, and weatherization. So those are my takeaways. And then the BurnWise program, real quickly, is about educating users on how to properly use their wood burning devices. We promote the upgrade and support the upgrade of cleaner technologies from wood to wood, wood to now more heat pumps, etc. So that's kind of our overall goals. And I just wanted to remind folks, and for those, we've had tribes using our various educational tools. They are free tools. We have a lot of information. Some of it was developed out of the Pacific Northwest that's free and available on building woodsheds, posters, videos. So just a reminder, we have these tools are available and they're for free, and you can order them and we'll send them directly to you. And moving on to the BurnWise program and heat pumps. in the past, EPA has encouraged the upgrade or changing out of uncertified wood stoves to cleaner technologies that I indicated. The last couple of years, we really focused on and started raising awareness about air source electric heat pumps because the technology is really improved now. And with the passing of the Inflation Reduction Act, there's a lot of more funding available for heat pumps. And one thing I wanted to mention is heat pumps not only heat your home, but they also can cool a home. And with climate change and the more extreme heat events, even wildfire smoke, it's a great solution for both heating and cooling, just from a technology standpoint. And then, given that the power outages are happening probably more frequently where you are, the combination of a heat pump and a wood stove is something that the Burn Wise program sees as a win-win. So in terms of how heat pumps work, just briefly, heat pumps don't really release energy like fossil fuels, but rather they move and transfer air from one place to the next. Heat pump is, really quite efficient. They, putting 1 unit of energy into a heat pump, you can get 3 units out. So, this is the kind of the direction and hope that with the funding that's available, that this combination is something that folks can take a look at. Wanted to go over the funding options just briefly. There are 3 programs that I'm going to highlight. The first is the Community Change Grant Program. And a notice of funding specifically mentions under the Community Change Grant Program, and it's I've been doing this for about 20 years. It specifically highlights mitigating climate and health risks from wood heaters. Again, first time we've seen this. The notice and also speaks about supporting wood appliance upgrades, replacements, education, weatherization, and heat pumps. That's the Community Change Grant Program. That grant period is currently open until November 21st. Those grant amounts, though, are very large, $10 to $20 million for those particular projects. There is technical assistance available to help with that, so just know that. And a tribe would need to partner with a community-based organization. The Environmental Justice Thriving Communities Grant Program, the $600 million is a sub-award program. And this program is very flexible and allows funding of a lot of the same activities I just mentioned with the Community Change Grant Program. But in this case, tribes can apply directly without a community-based organization. And it's a simplified grant process to reduce a lot of the burden from grant processes. And the downside is there are much smaller awards, or it could be a positive, up to $350,000 for that particular program. And that's just really, that is opening up just here this summer. And then I want to mention the Department of Energy's Home Energy Rebate Program. The tribal set aside of $225 million, non-competitive. Each tribe has a certain allocation available for this. And that is due, those applications are due next May 2025. More specifically, want to touch base on the home energy rebate programs and the heat pumps funding available. There's $8,000 available per up to $8,000 for a heat pump, $4,000 if you need to upgrade your panel, electrical panel, and then there's funding for insulation, air sealing, ventilation, up to $14,000 for the per household. So just wanted to go over those real quickly and just say there's an opportunity here to address residential wood smoke indoors and out by installing certified wood stoves, heat pumps, weatherizing homes, and to educate people on proper operation. Feel free to, I think, reach out to your tribal Region 10 folks for more assistance. I can be there also to help out as needed, but that's what I wanted to quickly go over. And thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Larry. Very, very good information. Very concise. Jillian?
Hi. All right. I don't have a headset on, so I just need to confirm. Can you all hear me clearly today? Okay.
Yes.
And about 3 minutes, is that correct?
Well, however long you need.
Okay. All right. Wish I could meet you and see you all in the room. I was at ATCOM about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I'm just going to share the key messages are from just a couple slides that I used at ATCOM. And I'm going to pull them up really quickly. And it is not that slide. Let's go up to the beginning. All right. Can you all see the heat map here?
Yes.
Okay, so in the short amount of time, I'm going to first pause and say the Tribal Healthy Homes Network, we're not a technical assistance center, but a lot of what we do is direct technical assistance. And right now is a really good time to use our services and programs. All the money that Larry just carefully laid out, it's a lot to navigate, and you have, talking with your housing authorities or housing consortia, maybe with your health clinic, and you already have a full-time job. So I deeply appreciate that. It might look like a lot of money, and it is, but it's also a lot of work to not only pursue it, but to know where to begin. Please give us a call, email. We're here to try to help walk you through that. The reason I'm showing this slide for just a minute, and I shared this at AdCom, is, as you can see, this is July 8th. By the way, that's an error that's supposed to say 2023. You can see how much of a change there has been throughout Alaska, right, in the kind of temperatures that historically were never seen. Here's a smoke map from July 9th of 2019. So the extent to which wildfire smoke has become, for historically, wood smoke was a concern, among other things, for air quality. Wildfire smoke, as everyone in the room right now and on the call knows, has become another significant issue. The reason I want to encourage you to think about this as a priority in your community is that we're now seeing the heat and the smoke patterns show up in the hospital visits. So, and I'm not trying to get too into data here, but I did want to highlight that researchers have been looking at emergency department visits and comparing them when these heat and smoke events occur. And as expected, they're seeing, especially in older adults, so tribal elders in particular, they're seeing an increase for not asthma, yes, but arrhythmia, heart failure, and cardiovascular events. Heat events, so that was smoke that I just shared. On heat events, they're also seeing an increase in the likelihood that someone might have to go to the emergency department, and that a variety of heart attacks, strokes, other things. Really dismal, unfortunate to share that data, but I do share that because what Larry just talked about is the idea that a heat pump, there is no one solution, nothing is easy, but a heat pump is pretty darn close at helping out for a lot of things. It can cool the air, it can heat the air and reduce the need for the wood stove 24/7 as a heating source. But when those heat events occur, it can also help reduce the need to open windows and let in the mosquitoes and the the road dust, the solid waste burning. So there's some real benefits to the cooling, which I never thought I'd say in one sentence for Alaska. So this is just, I'll go about 30 more seconds here. We do two things we can specifically help aside from our technical assistance. We have a big focus on residents because we know you cannot get into every single home and coach every single member of your community in what is in their control, right? What can they do? The Air Matters Toolkit that you see a picture of here, there's probably maybe about 800 plus of these in Alaska tribal homes somewhere that have been distributed by many of you. And now increasingly we do a Smoke Matters Toolkit. They aren't a substitute for doing full-scale mitigation, but they help you reach residents so they can start to become more empowered and take control of some of their issues. Just please reach out to us. We can help you figure out with the funding, what are some of the best practices you want to promote and how to sort of navigate through that. And then finally, I'll just close by saying, we also provide a circuit rider training. Eileen Gagney is our trainer. She does come up to Alaska quite a bit and is out in the communities and spends 1 to 3 days working with the community itself, as well as staff and IGAP and council members. So please know that we're a resource here. And as Larry said, that funding is fantastic. So I'll stop there and thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. I'd like to see if anyone, though, in the audience has any questions of our presenters currently that they would like to ask. I know that there were a couple questions that had come in advance of this session. One was a question by Mike Savage, says, asked the question about what kind of tools we need for air quality and the steps to take. And Aaron, you had a couple of answers that you had provided. There were links to additional resources. Again, the materials of the presentations and that are on the Whova app. So they are unlike our previous sessions where we had some paper copies. This is all electronic. So I just want to make sure that folks do see that there were 2 additional links that Aaron had provided folks about resources and tools, specifically around air and climate resources. And then another one specific on with regard to smoke or wildfire smoke resources. Is there anything else any of you wanted to add for the good of the audience? Aaron, Althea, Sydney, India. No. Like I said, any questions though from our attendees here? No, crickets. Wait, there is a question. All right. Yeah. Here, you can use this mic.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kim. I work for the Ho Tribe. I'm actually a water quality specialist, so air quality monitoring is completely out of my wheelhouse. We don't actually have anybody at the on the reservation to do air quality monitoring, but something that has come up recently is that it's a long-standing issue, but we've been discussing it more. There's a lot of mold in the houses on the reservation. And one tribal member told me recently she has mushrooms growing in her closet. So we were talking about how we could monitor for this stuff to get funding for, from other sources for improving those houses. The Ho Tribe is also working to move to higher ground because they're currently in a tsunami sea rise area. So alternatively, finding ways to fund new housing that hopefully will be constructed in the next couple of years. So yeah, any input for, first off, can you capture the effect of mold using indoor air quality monitoring sensors? Is there a loan program that you guys have for indoor sensors that could do that? And then is there a way to leverage that to improve conditions?
Thank you. Yeah, Gillian, I was going to say, would you mind?
Yeah, there's a few of us on this panel. I appreciate your sentiments that like mold is one of the most long-standing pervasive issues in tribal housing in Alaska and the lower 48 and all the tribes on the Olympic Peninsula. You know, you have sideways rain, right? So regardless of construction quality, you also just have a lot of moisture. You can't monitor for mold spores. You could sample. EPA does not recommend sampling mold spores because there's always a certain background concentration. What you can measure is indoor humidity. You can assess for where it could be leaks that are contributing to it or standing water in the crawl space. What I will say is you're just asking the right questions, so you're off to a great start. If you get in touch with us, we have our circuit rider can come out. We've done a lot with Quileute and Quinault, but I don't know if we've trained Ho, but she'd be happy to come out, look through the homes and give you an idea of what are the risk factors contributing to mold. If someone's sick, absolutely. Everybody develops sensitivities. So that person, if they have mushrooms, should ideally probably not be in the house much longer, because if she's not affected by it now, she will be over time. But yeah, and then with your new construction, there's EPA has Indoor Air Plus guidelines. They're voluntary, but they're really straightforward, and they're going to help with climate resilience, with prevention of future mold, with the health of the occupant. And we're happy to kind of share those too, because you guys do have, with funding, hopefully to move your housing and build new housing, an opportunity to kind of build it really resilient and clean from the ground up. Yeah, I'll try to put out my contact information on a slide or something, because I'd love to be able to connect you with our resources.
I also wanted to add that our community change grants do specifically call out mold remediation as one of the things that you can do. So you can
I'd like to add
sanitize your
something too.
buildings and, yeah, mold remediation.
India? India, yeah. Did you have something?
Sorry, it's hard for us to hear some questions. The
Did
last
you-
comment was
India, did you have something?
struggle
you
to
wanted-
come through on the EJ grant. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that our climate change or community change grants actually call out mold remediation as one of the specific strategies that they give an example of in Appendix C or D of the NOFO.
India, did you have something more to add?
Yeah, I just a couple things. So I think along with the Tribal Healthy Homes Network, also in Alaska is Alaska Tribal Health Consortium, and they would also be able to provide tools for assessing. They have a home assessment checklist for indoor air quality, and in some cases can come out and visit and help with looking at the home. And so that's just one other tool I wanted to share or resource. And then on the note of assessments, for the question that was asked before the session about steps to take and for air quality programs, I think a good first step is kind of assessing what your needs are and your concerns are for air quality, ambient and indoor and outdoor air quality. And then I wanted to mention that. So there are tools that we can connect you with so you can be thinking about that. And then from there, putting together your plan and your project plan and what you'd like to tackle first and in connecting to funding and partners. So that's kind of a few steps that came up when we were thinking about your question. And we have lots of folks on the line who'd be happy to talk with you in more detail about those steps. And
Any other questions that folks have? So I think originally we had structured sort of built in that we would have some tabletop discussions, but I think because again, most of the all of our presenters are remote and want to make the best use of their time. Chris, should we could either end early or we can still have two questions that we could offer for discussions at the table. Okay, yeah, we have 10 minutes left, so we might as well. Yeah. Yeah, but maybe we'll ask folks if they're willing to speak out loud and talk. Yeah, table, yeah, the table. Yeah. So, well, like I said, we'll still hold you hostage for another 10 minutes, but what we are hoping is that, although most folks are only a single person at a table, it's the problem. We'll have to combine some tables, but the ideal is just keeping with some of the themes of what we've attempted to do with some of the other topics, such as the land and the water, is to have just a discussion to talk about like where you are in your programs, like sort of again where you know specific around air. Is it again maybe it's still a new area of development for your programs? In which case then is there, like I said, an ideal of maybe where you want to go with it? So in consideration of where some of the resources that you've been presented today might be helpful in helping you to get to some of those goals for around air quality. So yeah, we're just going to take a 5 minutes very quickly. Oh, there's a question. Hang on.
Hello, my name's Colby Drake, and it's great to see Althea Godfrey on there. I receive emails from her daily on smoke management and what we're going to do, and it helps us make decisions for planning, whether it's for that day, for that week, or so. But one area I wanted to look at was, or maybe get some more information on, was FAR. I'm with the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, so right here located, and we're in a smoke-sensitive receptive area. We have a basically, yeah, coming right up from Lincoln City all the way to Salem. So any smoke that we put in the air basically goes right to Salem because we have that onshore flow. And yeah, just maybe talk about the opportunities or options available through FAR and what that looks like. Grand Ronde has been considering it and looking at it, taking control of our airshed and what that would, yeah, just the opportunities there. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for raising that. And I can speak to that a little bit, and maybe Althea, feel free to chime in or jump in. So I guess just to introduce the FAR for other folks who may not be as familiar with it, it's called the Federal Air Rules for Reservations, short for FAR, and it's a set of air quality rules that apply to reservations within Idaho, Oregon, and Washington specifically. And the goal of the FAR is to set a similar level of air quality protection to that which exists off reservation. So it's unique to the 3 states, it's unique to Region 10. But again, the goal is to establish a framework for similar level of air quality protection, but also a framework for tribes to get delegation of certain programs and implement portions of the FAR, the Clean Air Act. This is separate from other delegations that tribes may have interest in under treatment as a state or getting a tip, that kind of thing. And Gillian also working through the Chili Lip tribes can also speak to the experience working under the FAR if you want to jump in as well. But I'll say, so I guess in terms of sort of rules that may impact burning or, have decision making with burning, I'll start there and we can move to opportunities. But we do have a rule that allows us or a delegated tribe to call out a federal air quality burn ban. So when the air is getting poor, specifically when it's reaching one of our air quality standards, we or the tribe can put a burn ban in place that prohibits outdoor burning. Cultural and traditional burning is exempt from that rule, so that activity can continue. But it's a way to help prevent air quality from continuing to degrade if it's at a certain level. We see in certain areas of our region, we have mountain valley areas that have stagnation in the winter, so air gets trapped, air gets, can be poor, and then this is just one tool that us or a tribe can use to help protect air quality and make sure that's not further degraded. The FAR also does have rules, though, that in which a tribe could establish a burn permit program that would allow a tribe to receive permits for outdoor burning activities, including agricultural burning, forestry burning, general backyard outdoor burning. And it can be set up different ways, but it allows a tribe to manage smoke within their reservation. It's just the tribe can also do this under their own authority, of course, but it's just an established federal framework of rules that a tribe can seek delegation for and implement a program. We currently have 2 tribes that do this, that have a burn permit program. That's the Nez Perce tribe and the Umatilla tribes in Oregon. And they've had those programs for several years now, maybe since 2007 or so. And we work with them to help support those programs. but that is an option. If tribes have interest in, getting a better, I guess, tracking system in place for burning activities, it's one tool to, only allow burning activities to occur when a permit is issued. And the FAR is also set up in such a way that you can just seek pieces of certain programs. So the tribe may only be interested in
like a partial delegation.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So under like the burn permit program, a tribe may only have interest in managing forestry burning, for example, and not agricultural. And it allows that only a delegation of one and not the other, or we have tribes that do them all. So it just kind of depends on the interest and the need for that type of program. But under the umbrella of the FAR, some of the work that we do that you get messages from Althea about is providing forecasting to tribes to help inform burn decisions. So we have meteorologists that help us do that sort of predictive forecasting to help say when it's a good day to burn, not so good day to burn, and some considerations around that. It's not regulatory, but it is, advice that could help mitigate smoke. I don't know if Gillian or Althea want to add to the FAR or activities that.
I would just add one thing is that whether or not you have delegation and control of your airshed, you can always contact us for a spot forecast. So if you're concerned about smoke traveling east and infringing on someone else's airspace, then you can see how high are the mixing heights and whether or not what size of a burn you might be able to pull off without infringing like that. So I hope that helps.
And I don't have much to add. I will just say that there's tribes with far more elaborate and expansive programs for burn permits, but at Tulalip, we established a system probably over 20 years ago. So preceding the FAR, we codified it in tribal code about outdoor burning, backyard burning, burning on the beach was allowable for the fishermen, right? Or any cultural, spiritual practices. But I will say that since the FAR, we don't get a lot of harassment or pushback from people, non-tribal members living on the reservation, but it's good to have the FAR in case we do, because then we have, people might push back and say, yeah, I'm within the external boundaries of the reservation, but I'm not on tribal land. But with the FAR, of course, then covers them. And there are tribes that encounter more resistance than we do. It just depends on where you are and who's trying to burn something they're not supposed to be burning. So we do get people coming out occasionally with like construction waste, tires. It's not often, but it does still happen. So.
Yeah, Gillian, thanks for that. That's a good addition, I think, in that the one benefit of having a delegation under the FAR is having the sort of that phrase "gorilla in the closet," like EPA. It's a federal rule that is being implemented within the reservation on behalf of EPA by the tribe. So with that, EPA can follow up with federal enforcement if someone was not following the rules, as the tribe has interest in that process. We work closely in that regard.
Is that done, the sort of that compliance piece, is that done kind of like through like a tip hotline, or like how is that information? Does it go to, like in our case, our enforcement and compliance assistance division, or does it go to the AIR program?
Yeah, it can go through many different networks. We sometimes receive complaints directly from the tribe. So myself or Althea can receive a complaint. We do have, thanks for that question, we do have a hotline, a FAR hotline, and in that it's in that 2-pager that's on the platform and perhaps in the room there. There's a phone number the public can call and provide details on a complaint. We get it through state agencies when folks refer activities that are happening, within a reservation that falls to the tribes or our jurisdiction. And we do have on the list, I didn't go through that, I'm sorry, but the first page has a list of contacts, and on there we do list the air enforcement program contact, Sarah Connolly. And tribes can also refer directly to her, but if it comes to Althea or I, we can get it to the right folks, and certainly referring to enforcement as there's interest by us or the tribe, we can do that.
Thank you. Well, the good thing
Thank
is
you.
now we filled in sufficient time. We don't have to do a tabletop exercise.
Oh.
Unless anybody else has any other questions. No, I'd like to give a round of applause though for our speakers and participants. Thank you. Thank you all very much. And like I said, the resource materials that Sandra and the presentation that Larry put together is like on the HUVA website. So thank you guys very much. I'm glad we got this down right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.